Hi, and thank you for watching once again. So, in this video, we'll talk about Ansible. Particularly, we'll focus on playbooks. Playbooks are nothing but a file type. Usually, it comes in a YAML file, and in that file sits a set of plays or tasks instructions that Ansible will use to configure against a machine or a number of machines that you ask it to, basically. So if we look at my AWS account here, as you can see within my instances, I've got few instances that exist here. There's one in particular that's running. So in a separate session, we looked at how we can configure that server with Terraform. So now that Terraform has configured that server and the server is up and running, we can install things on there. We can configure few tools on this server. So a very quick and basic one we can perform in this video is to install Docker as an application. So we can use Ansible and we can instruct it to go ahead and install this Docker application on that platform. So as you can see in here, I've got two windows open. One is the Ubuntu terminal. This is because Ansible uses Ubuntu and Linux to predominantly. So using this terminal, we can establish a connection with that server, and also we can ask it to use the playbook to perform the tasks as well. So if you look at the left side of the screen, we've got a folder I've created, which in that folder sits two files. Now these two files are particularly important. If we start with the inventory file, which is basically nothing but a configuration file. So if we look within the file itself, okay, expand my screen here. Now, in a nutshell, what that file is trying to do is trying to connect to our host. Now, our host being EC2 here. So the server that we saw on my AWS instance screen. The details of that server is listed in this file. So the first one to notice is our IP address. This is the public IP address for that server. And we've got our user as well, which is an EC2 user. So if we go through further, we've got this file here, which is a .pem file. So we've named it as demo EC2 instance.pem file. Now what this file is it's a key pair file which gets downloaded in the process of creating the virtual server on AWS. Now, with that file downloaded in our local machine, we can use that file to connect to that server and perform everything that we do on the server through our local terminal, our local machine, in a nutshell. So that's the relevance of that file being declared. The relevance of that PEM file being declared in this document here. So in a nutshell, that covers the inventory file. And if we minimize and let's come out of it, basically, if we exit that file, we move on to the next file. So the next file is something I mentioned previously, which is the YAML file. So the Docker, not the Docker, the playbook itself. So we've titled it to install Docker because this is simply what we're trying to achieve in this session here. So if we go through that file itself, okay, and if we can expand the file, it's a very basic YAML file, which the aim of it is to install just one application, Docker, as I mentioned before. So to begin with, the file has the file separator. Now, usually in every YAML playbook file, you will see this line in here. What it does is it separates other playbooks, basically. So you could have multiple playbooks in one file, and this helps establish the differences between each one of them. So if we move on, we've given it a name. So install Docker on our Linux Amazon server, and the host being the EC2. This is the host in which Ansible needs to install these tools against, shall I say. So become has been set to true, and become is simply granting Ansible the necessary permissions to install to carry out these tasks basically. So if we liken it to running an application on a local machine as admin mode or administrator mode or sudo mode, so this is what this line basically does. And then we've got our tasks in here, and then the first task to perform is to install a Docker package, and we've got the state as present. The state has been set to present, and what that does is it asks Ansible to, once the connection has been established, access the environment, check to see if Docker is available. If it's present, if it's not present, then go ahead and install it. So that's basically in a nutshell what that that line does, shall I say. So the next task to perform is enable the service. So enable Docker service once it's been installed, and then start it as well. So if we go through here, all you're trying to do here is set it to true. So enable being true. So once it installs successfully, enable the service, and then start it each time that we log on to that server, basically. So each time we log onto the server or the server restarts, starts the Docker server within it, basically. And then finally, we are adding our EC2 user to the Docker group, basically. So in a nutshell, that's what our playbook is doing. And as you can see, we've got a set of plays here for it to perform. So we can save this file. We didn't make any changes to it, but we can save and close the file, and then head back to our terminal, Ubuntu terminal. Now, the first command, useful command to do is to ping this server, make sure it's traceable, it can be reached, and we can do so by running this command here. So if I expand my screen again, all it's doing is it is targeting this path here, which contains our inventory file, as we saw before. Now, just a recap, the inventory file is the file which has all the server details that Ansible needs to establish the connection. So if I select start here, or if I hit enter, it should scan and look for that host, and then try to establish a connection with it. So that's okay. As you can see on here, we've got a successful ping, which is a good thing. Our server has been found, and we can basically communicate with it. So now that that's been done, the next command that we can run is for Ansible to execute the playbook itself. So if we now run the next command, which I've got here, we run the playbook command. So this command, what it does is it locates this playbook file and it starts to execute it. And as you can see on here, few things are being put together. The plays tasks are being beginning basically, and it should run our plays on. So that has been successful. As you can see on here, it gathered facts and it installed our tasks or the plays, as I can say. So what we can do is we can go onto our server and pick the command line for that server, and we can verify that Ansible has indeed installed these plays that we requested it to. So the first thing that we can do, because it installed Docker, so we can check the version of Docker. So we can do Docker -version, and as we can see, it's we've got a version on there. We've got an installation, so that's good. The next command we can run is to check the status of the service. So remember, part of our play was to start the service and make sure Docker is started as well. So for this, what we can do is we can do system ctl and then Docker, and then it's service. I believe I may have to change this if that's not the right one. Okay, so system service Docker. system status Docker. Okay, so as you can see on here, the service has started. And if you focus on this message at the bottom here, so started the service and Docker application container engine as well. So that's been successful. What we can do is we can also create another file in here if we wanted to uninstall these applications as well. So following the similar structure that we did before, create this file which has instructions to uninstall any application that we instructed to. And then once we run it, it should go through Ansible, should pick up the playbook, run the plays, which is to uninstall these programs, and that should work as well. So in a nutshell, that's what we can use Ansible and playbooks for. We can use it to install applications or tools on a machine, and we can also use it to uninstall as well. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful. Hopefully, it helps you with trying to get an understanding of Ansible and also playbooks. If there are better ways I can do it, please do share your thoughts and ideas, and we can learn together basically.